A very warm welcome to all the students of Thakur Vidya Mandir High School and Junior College. Keeping up with our motto, let learning be a joy and teaching a pleasure. Here we are with remote teaching and learning process to bridge the gap. Happy learning, students! Warm welcome to all the students. Today we are going to study a new topic in English grammar. I request each and every student to please take down notes so that it will be very helpful for you all during your exams. Thank you. Today's topic is interrogative sentences. Previously, we had studied imperative sentences. Today, we are studying a new topic in English grammar, that is interrogative sentences. Hello students, I am Miss Daisel De Silva, teacher of Thakur Vidya Mandir High School and Junior College, will be teaching you all this topic. Requesting you all to please take down notes. Let's start with interrogative sentences. But before we start, let's understand the concept of a sentence. What is a sentence? A sentence is a group of words which makes complete sense, which has complete thought, and in that particular sentence, it is a combination of subject and verb as well. So, as I have explained you all in my previous video in imperative sentences, I have explained in depth what is a sentence. But just a brief, like a small summary of, I'm just telling you all in short that a sentence is a group of words which has a complete sense, and in a particular sentence there will be a combination of subject and verb. Complete thought means complete sense. For examples, look at these two sentences. Blue sky is the. That particular sentence is not making any sense at all. While the second sentence, the sky is blue. When we read this sentence, it is making a complete sense and giving us a complete thought. And therefore we know that the color of the sky is blue. In a particular in a particular sentence, we will have a subject and a verb also. Also, in a particular sentence, the meaning can be as a statement, it can be as a question, it can be as a command, or it can also have an exclamation mark. So, in a particular sentence, different emotions, different moods are expressed. Previously, we had studied imperative sentences. Today, we are going to study interrogative sentences. That is, sentences which ask questions. So, let's get started. As I have mentioned earlier, there are four types of sentences or kinds of sentences: declarative sentences, imperative sentences, interrogative sentences, and exclamatory sentences. These four sentences we use in our day-to-day life. Declarative sentences are also called as assertive sentences, which make statements. Imperative sentences are sentences which express a command, request, advice, instructions, and so on. Interrogative sentences are sentences which ask questions. The last, exclamatory sentences are sentences that express strong feelings, emotions in that particular sentence. So today we are going to focus more on interrogative sentences and declarative sentences. I repeat, today we are going to concentrate more on interrogative sentences and declarative sentences. Also, my dear students, don't forget that in interrogative sentence, the sentence will end with a question mark. That is one of the most important thing. we have seen in imperative sentence, the sentence always ended with a exclamatory mark or full stop. Whereas in interrogative sentence, that particular sentence will always end with a question mark. As I mentioned earlier, we are going to study assertive sentence also. Assertive sentences are also known as declarative sentences. This sentence which declares or asserts a statement, feeling, opinion, incident, event, history or anything is called an assertive sentence. An assertive sentence ends with a period that is full stop. Assertive sentence can be either affirmative or negative. That means it can be either positive or negative. An interrogative sentence can be either affirmative or negative. To give a small example of assertive sentence is Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. It is giving us a statement that Humpty Dumpty, where did he sit? He sat on a wall. What is exactly an interrogative sentence? An interrogative sentence is one that asks a direct question and always ends in a question mark. The term interrogative sentence is another name for a question. For example, does he care about us? Why did he leave us then? Who is the man sitting in the corner? Such kinds of sentences are known as interrogative sentence, where you are expecting an answer from an opposite person, where we ask the question, for example, what are you doing? Where do you live? And so on. In interrogative sentence, there are two types of question. Firstly, yes no question and question word. We will be studying that in detail. When we ask the question to anyone, the opposite person can either answer by saying yes or no, or that particular person will give specific information when you ask the question. For example, if you ask the question to any other opposite person, is it raining? He will answer either yes or no. But when we ask why are you bored, then that particular person, we are expecting that opposite person will give us a brief information about why exactly is he bored. So we have two types of questions: yes no questions and question word questions. Example, is it raining? The answer to it can be yes or either no. And the question word means when we ask a particular question, that opposite person will give us a specific information when you ask the question why. We will be studying that in detail and you all will understand it clear. But remember that in interrogative sentence there are two types of question, either yes or no question, or whenever we ask a question, the opposite person is expected to give answer in detail. Please pay attention over here. Firstly, we will be studying WH question. That means question words, where we expect someone to give a detail and proper information when we ask the question. These questions that begin with WH words such as what, who, whom, whose, which, where, when, why, and even how. You all must be thinking that why, how is included in WH question. Yes, even the word how is considered as WH word because it asks for information. WH questions require some definite information in reply. So when we want to get a good and a proper answer from an opposite person, then we have to ask question which begin with WH word. That means our WH family. And even in that, how is included in a WH family. Example is, what is his address? His address can be anything. He might be staying in Borivali, So he is giving you a detailed address about him. Which is the way to go there? That opposite person is asking to direct him to reach that particular spot. How long have you been working here? Now, how? It is asking you a question that how long have you been working here? For 1 year, for 2 years? So when we want to get a good and a definite answer, that time we have to use WH question, that means WH family words, to ask a question and to get a valid and proper answer. Also, when we ask, if I ask you what are you doing, you can't just say yes. You will either tell me that yes, I am studying, or maybe you can tell me I am sleeping. So see, when you ask a WH question, that opposite person is expected to give answer in a proper detailed manner. Okay, now when you want to just get a answer in yes or no format, then we have to use auxiliary verbs. I hope that you all know what are modal auxiliary verbs. Pay attention over here. When you are expecting to get a yes and no question, then these are questions which may be answered with short yes or no, and they begin with auxiliaries such as is, am, are, was, were, have, had, will, shall, may, would, might, must, should, etc. Such auxiliary words when we use in the start instead of WH family words, then it will just give you an answer of yes and no. For example, was he staying there? It is just telling you was that particular person staying there, and you're just expecting an answer yes or no. It can be either yes or either no. Shall we go there? It is asking your advice. Shall we go there? And therefore, we use auxiliary words to get only yes and no question. Okay. For example, if I ask you all, have you all finished your homework? It can be either yes or no. And if I ask why did you not complete your homework, then I'm expecting to get a brief and a detailed answer. So when you just want to get answer like yes or no, then you have to use modal auxiliary words in the beginning instead of WH family, and then you will get answer just in short, that is yes or no. The last example, have you had your breakfast? It is telling you whether you had your breakfast. It can be either yes or no. We are going to study now the formation of yes and no question. So whenever we have to form a question where we are expecting just to get a yes or no answer, then the format or the we have to form the question in this manner. First, we'll have the auxiliary verb plus subject plus main verb plus the remainder. Here are some examples of yes/no question. Can tiger swim? Has the crocodile returned to the water? Over here in the first sentence, can is the auxiliary verb, tiger is the subject, the main verb is the swim, and the remainder we have no remainder. And the possible answer, it can be yes, they can, or no, they can. In the second question, has the crocodile returned to the water? Over here, has is the auxiliary verb. The crocodile is the subject. Return is the main verb. To the water is the remainder. Once you are done with the main verb, the rest remaining is the remainder. And the possible answer, it can be no, it has not. So whenever you have to form a yes or no question, then this will be the structure. First, modal auxiliary verb plus subject plus main verb, and in the end plus remainder. I hope you have understood how to form a yes or no question. We shall now study the forming of question word, that is WH family. Over here, the first important thing is question word. That means WH family words plus auxiliary verb plus subject plus main verb plus remainder. Here are some examples of question word questions. Where did the train stop? Why was the policeman waving the flag? The question word in the first sentence is where. Auxiliary verb is did. Subject is the train. And the main verb over here is stop. We have no remainder and the possible answer can be anything. Boston or Andheri or Virar. It can be, it is giving you a proper and a possible answer. It is not giving you yes and no. And therefore we make use of WH questions. In the second sentence, why is a question. Was is an auxiliary verb. The policeman is the subject. Waving is the main verb. The flag is the remainder. And if we ask any police, why was the policeman waving the flag? The possible answer is to stop the traffic. So whenever we want to ask a WH question where we are expecting to get a definite answer, then we have to make use of WH question having this structure. Question word, that is WH family, plus auxiliary verb, plus subject, plus main verb, plus remainder. Now we are going to study how to convert an assertive to interrogative sentence without changing the meaning. It is very easy to understand. For now, you all just concentrate. There are two steps. Firstly, as I have mentioned earlier, that if a particular sentence is positive, then you have to make it negative, and you all will be understanding the structure. Don't worry at all. If they tell you how to convert a particular sentence from assertive to negative sentence, then you all have to keep only two steps in mind. As soon as you all get a particular sentence, check whether that particular sentence is in positive form or negative form. If it is in positive, then you have to convert it into negative by adding not. If it is negative, then you have to convert it and make that particular sentence into positive. After that, we have to move the helping verb and start off the sentence. In the next slide, I will give you with an example and it will be crystal clear. Don't worry. I am just hoping you all that you all are taking notes because it will be very helpful for you all. If they ever tell you to convert a assertive sentence to negative, then you all have to keep two steps in mind. For example, if they give you a sentence, Dhoni is a great player. Now this particular sentence is a positive sentence. Now since this particular sentence is positive, you all have to first convert it into negative. If it was negative, then you would have converted into positive. So convert affirmative sentence to negative. That is, Dhoni is, after helping verb is, you are adding a not. Dhoni is not a great player. Once you finish converting a positive sentence into negative, then after that, the next step is to move the helping verb and start off the sentence. Now what is the helping verb over here? Is. Is not. So isn't Dhoni a great player? Question mark. I hope this concept is clear. I will give you all another example and it will be very clear. I repeat it once again. When you get any particular sentence, if that particular sentence is in positive, then convert it into negative. If it is in negative, then convert it into positive. After that, the second step is move the helping verb first and you all can, and then start off with the rest of the sentence. Isn't Dhoni a great player? And don't forget to put a question mark because they have told you to convert an assertive sentence into an interrogative sentence. Next example. Now, in this particular sentence, now this sentence is negative. So what is your first step? Convert that sentence into positive. Instead of not, cancel not and make the positive sentence. The sandwich was tasty. Now what is your next step? Helping verb. Now what is the helping verb over here? Was. You all have studied, no, in present tense and past tense, the helping verbs is, was, am, are, was, were, had, have, all these words. Then The second step is move the helping verb. So you're moving the helping verb and then start with the rest of the sentence. Was the sandwich tasty? It will give you the answer yes or no. Okay. I hope this concept is clear. I know what y'all are thinking. What if helping verb is not provided in a particular sentence? We still have a solution for it. Don't worry. There are sometimes cases where helping verb is not provided. Then what we have to do? We have to check the tense of the sentence and accordingly we have to add the helping verb do, does, did. Now in this particular sentence, he plays cricket. Now this particular sentence is a simple present sentence and therefore we are adding does. Now since this particular sentence is in a positive sentence, then first what is the first step? We have to first convert that particular sentence into negative. So here we are. He does not play cricket. Now helping verb, as I have mentioned y'all, you have to add not just after the helping verb. So what is the helping verb over here? Does. So after does we have added not. He does not play cricket. Now what is the second step? We have to move the helping verb in the start. Doesn't he play cricket? So we got the answer. I hope you all understood this concept. If in case a helping verb is not provided, then accordingly we have to use the helping verb do, does, did. Okay. I hope this concept is clear. Do and does in present tense questions become did in the past tense. I hope this concept is clear. Both do and does in the present tense question becomes did in the past tense. I hope this concept is clear. And accordingly you all can use the helping verb. When to use which helping verb. Also, we use do when the subject is I, you, we or they. When we use does with third person, that is singular pronoun. When the subject is he, she or it. And when do we use did? In the past form. When any incident has happened in the past, that time we have to use the helping verb did. And if we want to add negative, then we have to add not. I repeat again. When to use do? When the subject is I, you or we. When to use does? When that particular sentence is talking about third person, that is he, she or it. And when to use did? When any particular sentence is in past tense, that time we have to use did. I hope at least now your concept is clear. Keep these cases in mind. It will be helpful for you all if they tell you all to convert an interrogative sentence to affirmative or from affirmative to interrogative sentence. Okay. So in case in a particular sentence is never is written and we have to change that sentence from assertive to interrogative. So instead of never you will write ever. Instead of no you will write any. I hope this concept is clear. Whenever in a particular sentence never is written, you have to convert that into ever. And if no is written, then you have to convert that back into any. For example, Ajay will never forget my kindness. As I have mentioned, instead of never, you will add ever. Will Ajay ever forget my kindness? No one knows you. Now, in this particular sentence, we see that there is no helping verb and therefore we have used does. Does anyone, instead of no, we have to add any and end with the sentence, does anyone know you? Question mark. So, I hope this concept is clear at least. Now, this was in regards of if you have if they have told you to convert an assertive sentence to interrogative sentence. If they tell you all to convert an interrogative sentence into affirmative sentence or declarative sentence, then instead of ever, you will add never. And instead of any, you will add no. That will be vice versa. Now this structure, whatever we are studying now, is converting an assertive sentence to interrogative sentence. But if they tell you all to convert an interrogative sentence to assertive, then everything will be vice versa. As I have mentioned, instead of never, you will add ever. But if they tell you all to convert interrogative sentence into assertive sentence, then instead of ever, you will add never. Okay? I hope at least now this concept is clear. We are studying interrogative sentences. These are just cases in case if they tell you all to convert a particular sentence into interrogative sentence. The third case is if in case in a particular sentence, if everybody, everyone or all is mentioned, then you have to convert that sentence as who plus don't, does not, did not, and we will get that particular answer. Everybody likes to become great. Now instead of everybody, I have mentioned you all to add who instead plus. It can be either don't, does not or did not. So check, we have added does not like to be great. Who does not like to be great? Or it can be also said, does everybody not like to become great? Both the answers are correct. But if you are right, by adding who, it sounds clear. Who does not like to be great? And the answer will be everyone likes to become great. So these are the three cases. If helping verb is not provided, then instead of never you have to add ever. Instead of no, you have to add any. And in the third case, if in any particular sentence everybody, everyone or all is written, instead of that we have to write who plus don't, does not, did not, and accordingly you will have to shuffle without changing the meaning of the sentence. Now we will study how to convert an interrogative sentence to assertive sentence from a question mark to a full stop without changing the meaning. It is very simple. We have to follow two steps only. Previously the first step was we have to convert and then move. But when they tell you all to convert an interrogative sentence to assertive sentence, then the first step is we have to move the helping verb to its second position and then convert. For example, isn't this place I love the most? Now this particular sentence is an interrogative sentence. So what is the first step? We have to move the helping verb in its second position. So what is the helping verb over here? Isn't. So frame the sentence, this isn't the place I love the most. Now since this particular sentence is a negative sentence, we have to convert it back to a positive sentence. So we have to cut not. Now see the answer. This is the place I love the most. I hope this concept is very clear and I've made it very clear and very simple for you all. You all just need to understand. If you all are writing my notes, now you all can make out differences and now all these doubts will be clear. I hope you all understood how to convert an assertive sentence into interrogative and how to convert an interrogative sentence to assertive. Also when I have mentioned the cases, case 1, case 2, case 3 is the same. You all just have to shift it vice versa. Now we shall move ahead with few examples. Here are few examples when they tell you all to convert an assertive sentence into interrogative sentence. They play cricket. Now we don't have a helping verb over here. So we have to add helping verb over here and we can create the sentence. Do they not play cricket? Manoj reads English newspaper. Now this particular sentence we have to convert it into interrogative sentence. Does not Manoj read English newspaper? He went to the market. Now we have to convert this particular sentence into interrogative sentence. Did he not go to market? So I hope now you all have become the masters of assertive to interrogative and interrogative to assertive. You all can note it down, you all can follow my exercise and you all can convert the sentences. Now, as I've mentioned earlier, instead of never, which word to use, instead of no, which word to use. So here are the few examples. Ranjan never takes tea. If you have to convert that particular sentence, does Ranjan ever take tea? She never loved me. Did she love me? You can never forget her. Can you ever forget her? So, as I mentioned earlier, if you all are taking down my notes, this sentences while converting will be very easy for you all. These are few examples. I want you all to convert the following sentences from assertive sentence to interrogative sentence. Also in the exam, they will underline a specific answer they want and they will tell you all to ask a WH question where that particular answer should come. I will give you all few examples later. For now, I just want you all to solve this quiz. I have even taught you all how to convert a particular sentence. So now it won't be a problem for you all. Go through my notes, you all will understand. Pause my video. Go back, see how to convert a particular assertive sentence into an interrogative sentence and your answers will be clear. I'm requesting you all to go back and at least write the structure, the format, how to convert a particular sentence. Or if we get a particular sentence in a yes or no format, then how to convert that sentence. If we have to get a specific answer, then how to convert a sentence. And I have also mentioned exactly how to convert an assertive sentence into interrogative sentence. I hope you all have got these answers to the following questions. So this questions was mostly yes or no type and therefore you all have used modal auxiliary verbs. I hope this concept was very easy and very clear for you all. Thank you. Also in exams they will tell you all to frame a WH questions to get the underlined part as the answer. They arrived in London just before the nightfall. So just before the nightfall we want the answer. And if you want the answer you have to use WH family words. That is what, where, why and even how. So accordingly you all have to solve and you all will get the answer. When did they arrive in London? And it will give you the answer just before the nightfall. John had fallen in front of a house belonging to a rich merchant. Where had John fallen? It will give you the answer. The cook was trying to drive Dick away. What was the cook trying to do? He solved this problem by saving a few pennies and buying a cat. How did he solve the problem? I hope at least now the concept is clear. It was good time sharing all my knowledge I had about this particular topic with you all. Have a nice day. Stay safe, stay healthy. Thank you.